Ethan sat quietly in the briefing room, reading the latest reports. After their victory near Jupiter, humanity enjoyed a short peace, but he knew the calm wouldn't last. Valeria was cunning and patient, likely planning her next move carefully. Ethan's thoughts were interrupted as Admiral Clark entered swiftly, a troubled expression on his face. "Captain Cole," the Admiral began urgently, "we have distress signals coming from our outer colonies. Valeria's forces are striking unexpectedly and swiftly." Ethan stood immediately, determination clear in his eyes. "We can't let her regain control." "What colonies are under attack?" "Colony Alpha, our largest farming planet," Clark replied grimly. "Losing Alpha will be devastating." "We'll mobilize immediately," Ethan responded decisively, already heading for the hangar. Ethan quickly gathered Olivia and their best pilots, briefing them as they boarded their ships. Humanity's forces swiftly prepared for departure, determined to protect the vital colony. During the journey, Ethan strategized carefully, with Olivia aware that this attack felt different. Valeria's forces were hitting targets crucial to human survival. Ethan sensed Valeria was aiming to weaken humanity's resources significantly. As they arrived near Colony Alpha, the destruction was clear. Zalorian ships were already attacking fiercely, damaging infrastructure severely. Ethan immediately directed his forces into action, engaging enemy ships without hesitation. "Stay tight and focused," Ethan commanded firmly. "We must protect the colony's core structures at all costs." His fleet maneuvered skillfully, swiftly confronting Zalorian forces. Ethan and Olivia coordinated expertly, countering enemy moves strategically. Yet the attackers fought aggressively, seemingly determined to inflict maximum damage quickly. Suddenly, Ethan noticed a Zalorian command ship positioned apart, directing the enemy fleet efficiently. He quickly made a critical decision. "Olivia, continue the defense. I'll disable their command ship." "Be careful," Olivia warned, knowing the danger. Ethan gave a quick nod, maneuvering swiftly towards the command ship. Ethan piloted with precision, weaving expertly through enemy fire. The Zalorian command ship immediately recognized his intentions, responding fiercely. Ethan skillfully evaded. Powerful blasts, his ship shaking violently from near misses. Despite heavy fire, Ethan closed in, aiming carefully at critical points. His shots struck accurately, causing significant damage. Yet the Zalorian ship fought back fiercely, hitting Ethan's ship multiple times. Alarms blared urgently as systems failed. Determined, Ethan pressed his attack, firing again. This time, the command ship exploded brilliantly, scattering debris through space. Ethan quickly maneuvered away, his damaged ship barely functional. "Ethan!" Olivia's worried voice filled his communication channel. "Your ship's heavily damaged." "I'm still here," Ethan replied firmly, steering towards the colony. "How's the fight going?" "Better now," Olivia answered with relief. "With the command ship down, their forces are disorganized. We're pushing them back." Ethan guided his damage vessel into Colony Alpha's hangar, landing roughly but safely. Colony leaders greeted him gratefully, relieved to see humanity's swift response. However, Ethan immediately began organizing repairs and defenses, knowing Valeria wouldn't stop easily. Colony Alpha was crucial for humanity's survival, providing food for billions. Ethan worked tirelessly, ensuring defenses were strengthened and repair crews swiftly deployed. Days passed as the colony repaired damages. Ethan and Olivia oversaw every detail, strengthening defenses significantly. Despite exhaustion, they remained vigilant. Knowing Valeria would strike again soon, their caution was rewarded. Sensors detected a massive Zalorian fleet approaching rapidly. Ethan quickly alerted everyone, ordering immediate defense preparations. Zalorian fleet arrived fiercely, led personally by Valeria. Her massive flagship loomed threateningly, powerful and imposing. Valeria's voice filled communication channels coldly. "Captain Cole, your resilience is irritating," she snarled. "But it ends today." "Humanity stands strong, Valeria." "Ethan." replied firmly. Your aggression only strengthens our unity. Valeria laughed mockingly. We'll see about that. Immediately, the Zilorian fleet attacked fiercely, pressing humanity's forces intensely. Ethan led bravely, guiding his fleet with strategic precision. Olivia coordinated defenses expertly, holding their lines despite heavy assaults. Yet Valeria's battleship advanced relentlessly, destroying several human vessels instantly. Ethan knew they needed another daring move to shift the battle's momentum. Determinedly, he coordinated a precise strike with Olivia. Target Valeria's flagship engines. Ethan commanded decisively. Disable her ship, and their fleet will retreat. Human forces rallied quickly, focusing their attacks skillfully. Ethan piloted with determination, guiding precise strikes directly onto Valeria's ship engines. Powerful explosions erupted severely, crippling the enemy battleship. Valeria's voice filled the communication channels once more, furious and desperate. Captain Cole, you will regret this. End your aggression, Ethan responded strongly. Leave now. Realizing defeat, Valeria reluctantly ordered a retreat. Ethan watched as the Zilorian forces withdrew. Relieved but vigilant, Colony Alpha was saved, but Ethan knew Valeria remained a threat. He and Olivia quickly organized repairs and reinforcements, determined to prepare humanity for future battles. Standing together, Ethan and Olivia watched the colony recover swiftly. Humanity's resilience amazed them, reinforcing their determination. Ethan knew their fight wasn't over, but hope filled his heart. We protected something important today, Olivia said quietly, smiling gently. Yes, Ethan agreed firmly, and we'll keep protecting it. No matter how long this fight continues, humanity will never surrender. Together, they watched Colony Alpha rebuild, united in purpose, determined and ready for whatever came next. Ethan stood on the command deck, staring intently at the screen. Reports from all sectors showed the Zilorian forces retreating and regrouping. Humanity had pushed back strongly, but Ethan knew Empress Valeria was far from defeated. He watched the data closely, looking for any sign of her next move. Captain Cole, Admiral Clark said firmly, walking up to him, we have new information. Valeria is preparing another powerful attack. Our intelligence suggests she's aiming for Earth's defense network. If she destroys that, Ethan responded, seriously, we'll lose our best chance at defending ourselves. Exactly, Admiral Clark nodded. We need a plan to stop her before she can strike. Ethan gathered Olivia and other key officers quickly. Together, they worked tirelessly, creating a detailed strategy to counter Valeria's planned attack. Everyone knew the stakes were high. Losing the defense network meant losing Earth. Finally, their plan took shape. They will confront Valeria's fleet at Jupiter's orbit, far enough away to protect Earth from immediate harm, but close enough to ensure quick support from nearby bases. Ethan felt the weight of responsibility, but also determination dot as the fleet prepared to depart. Ethan met Olivia on the observation deck. They both watched Earth's beautiful blue glow from space, silently appreciating what they were fighting. To protect, are you ready? Olivia asked quietly, looking at Ethan with concern. We have no choice, Ethan replied firmly. Humanity depends on us. We must succeed. Olivia nodded, determination shining in her eyes. Together, we'll win. They boarded their ships and swiftly moved toward Jupiter. Ethan's heart was steady, his mind clear and focused. He knew this battle would test everything he had learned as they reached Jupiter's orbit. Valeria's massive fleet awaited them, countless ships arranged in tight formations. Her battleship was easily recognizable, positioned strategically at the center. Ethan tightened his grip on the controls. All units prepare for engagement, Ethan ordered clearly, his voice steady and calm. Valeria's voice suddenly filled their communication channels, cold and sharp. Captain Cole, your efforts will fail. Surrender now, and perhaps humanity might survive. We will never surrender, Ethan replied firmly, determination clear in his tone. Your aggression ends today. Valeria laughed darkly, her voice filled with confidence. Very well. You sealed your fate. Immediately, Zilorian ships advanced swiftly, firing powerful energy weapons. Ethan's fleet met them bravely, countering with precision attacks. Bright flashes filled the darkness as both sides clashed fiercely. Ethan maneuvered skillfully through intense enemy fire, staying calm despite the chaos. He led his fleet strategically, directing attacks where Valeria's fleet was weakest. Olivia coordinated the fleet's defenses expertly, ensuring minimal losses. Yet Valeria's battleship unleashed devastating blasts, destroying several human vessels instantly. Ethan realized their situation was becoming critical. He knew he needed a bold move to shift the battle's momentum. Olivia, Ethan called urgently through the comms, coordinate a focused strike directly on Valeria's flagship. We have to disable it. Understood, Olivia responded confidently, quickly relaying the orders. Human ships regrouped swiftly, launching a combined powerful attack against Valeria's battleship. Ethan led the charge, his ship dodging enemy fire expertly. The concentrated assault pierced through the enemy defenses, damaging Valeria's ship significantly. Valeria's voice returned, now filled with frustration and anger. Captain Cole, you'll pay dearly for this. Ethan ignored her threats, pressing the attack further. Suddenly, he noticed several smaller Zilorian ships breaking away, moving rapidly toward Earth's defense network. They're going after the network, Ethan exclaimed urgently. Olivia, take command here. I'll intercept them. Before Olivia could protest, Ethan steered his ship sharply, racing after the enemy squadron. He knew Earth's survival depended on stopping them. His ship pushed to its limits, engines roaring as he pursued. The Zilorian ships moved swiftly, almost reaching the defense network. Ethan quickly engaged, firing accurately and decisively. One by one, he disabled enemy vessels, determined to protect Earth at all costs. Finally, only one Zilorian ship remained, dangerously close to the network. Ethan pushed his ship even harder, closing the distance quickly. At the last possible moment, he fired a decisive shot, destroying the enemy craft just seconds before it reached its target. Ethan breathed deeply, relief flooding him. He immediately returned to the main battle, finding Olivia's forces still fighting bravely. Valeria's flagship was severely damaged, but still powerful. Ethan quickly joined the fight, leading renewed efforts against the Zilorian battleship. Together, Ethan and Olivia directed precise attacks, finally breaching the battleship's main defenses. Explosions ripped through the massive vessel, crippling it severely. Valeria's voice returned once more, weakened but furious. Captain Cole, you've achieved nothing. My empire remains strong, she warned bitterly. We've shown your empire that humanity will never bow, Ethan replied strongly. Retreat now, Valeria. End this war. Valeria paused, considering his words carefully. Finally, with a reluctant tone, she responded, This is not over, human. Her damaged battleship turned slowly, retreating with her remaining forces. Ethan allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Humanity had once again prevailed, despite great odds. Returning to Earth, Ethan and Olivia received a hero's welcome. People cheered, grateful for their bravery. Yet Ethan knew victory wasn't final. Valeria was still dangerous, planning her next move. Later, Ethan stood alone, overlooking Earth's beauty. Olivia joined him quietly, sensing his deep thoughts. We won today, she said softly. We can keep winning. We must, Ethan replied firmly. As long as Valeria remains a threat, our fight continues. Olivia nodded, standing resolutely beside him. Together, they watched a peaceful Earth, renewed determination guiding their hearts. The war continued, but humanity remained strong and united, ready to face whatever Valeria planned next. Ethan stood in the busy command center, maps and screens all around him flashing with constant updates from the warfront. Earth was fully engaged in fighting the Zilorian forces, battles raging across space and several human colonies. Despite the initial victories, Ethan knew the war was far from over. Valeria was a fierce and determined enemy, relentless in her goal of conquering humanity. Admiral Jason Clark entered the room quickly, his expression serious as he approached Ethan and Olivia. "Captain Cole, Lieutenant Hart, we have new intelligence. Valeria is sending her most powerful warships toward our main colony on Mars. We need you both there immediately." "We'll leave at once," Ethan replied, exchanging a determined look with Olivia. They moved swiftly, preparing their fleet of small, agile ships capable of countering Zilorian tactics. Ethan took command of his ship, his heart heavy with responsibility. He knew the outcome of this mission was critical, traveling rapidly toward Mars. Ethan and Olivia reviewed battle plans, ensuring every detail was precise. The enemy was strong, but Ethan was confident in humanity's resilience. As Mars appeared on their screens, they saw countless Zilorian ships already surrounding the colony, firing relentlessly. Humans were fighting bravely, but losing ground fast. "All ships engage!" Ethan ordered firmly, guiding his fleet directly in the battle. Bright beams of energy flashed around them, explosions filling space with fiery brilliance. Ethan maneuvered skillfully, his ship dancing swiftly through enemy fire. Olivia coordinated the fleet's counterattacks, expertly directing their movements. Slowly, humanity's fleet began pushing back, turning the tide of the battle. Ethan's strategic mind anticipated enemy tactics, allowing his forces to gain advantage. But suddenly, a massive Zilorian battleship appeared, overshadowing the smaller vessels. Valeria's voice echoed through their communication systems, filled with icy fury. "Captain Cole," Valeria hissed, "your defiance will end here." Ethan clenched, his fists responding firmly. "We will never surrender, Valeria. Leave our people alone or face defeat." Valeria laughed coldly, the sound sending chills down Ethan's spine. "You underestimate my power." Suddenly, powerful blasts erupted from Valeria's ship, devastating several human vessels instantly. Ethan's fleet struggled under the fierce assault. Knowing he had to act quickly, Ethan made a risky decision. "All remaining ships, fall back and regroup," Ethan commanded urgently. "I'll handle Valeria." "Ethan, that's suicide," Olivia protested desperately. "It's the only way," Ethan replied firmly, determination clear in his voice. "Trust me." Ignoring further protests, Ethan directed his ship straight toward Valeria's massive battleship. Dodging enemy fire, he piloted skillfully, weaving close to the battleship's defenses. Ethan's ship shook violently from near misses, but he pressed on. Determined, Valeria's voice filled his ship once more, mocking and cruel. "Brave but foolish, human. You will die alone." "Not today," Ethan replied firmly, focusing intently on his task. He targeted critical points on Valeria's ship, firing precisely at its weak spots. Explosions ripped through the enemy vessel, weakening it significantly. However, Ethan's ship also sustained heavy damage. Alarms blared loudly, lights flickering as systems failed. Realizing his ship was beyond saving, Ethan quickly set course for the surface of Mars. Hoping to crash land safely, his ship descended rapidly, the planet's surface growing closer. Ethan fought to maintain control, his hands gripping the controls tightly. With a heavy crash, his ship slammed into the Martian surface, throwing Ethan violently forward. Darkness overtook him momentarily. When Ethan opened his eyes, he felt immense pain but forced himself to stand. Smoke filled the cockpit, making him cough harshly. Carefully, Ethan moved outside, finding himself alone in a barren, rocky area. He knew rescue wouldn't arrive immediately. He had to find shelter. Ethan wandered the Martian landscape, exhausted and injured, finally spotting a series of caves nearby. Dragging himself inside, he collapsed against the cold stone wall, breathing heavily. Despite the harsh situation, Ethan's mind raced, planning his next move. After resting briefly, Ethan explored deeper into the caves. To his astonishment, strange glowing symbols covered the walls, similar to those he'd seen in Valeria's palace. Moving cautiously, Ethan followed the symbols deeper into the cave. Eventually, he entered a vast chamber. Ancient and untouched for centuries, in the center stood a large structure, clearly alien, radiating faint light. Ethan approached carefully, sensing its significance. The structure reacted to his presence, glowing brighter, symbols pulsating with mysterious energy. Ethan touched the surface gently, feeling warmth spread through his fingers. Suddenly, his mind filled with vision scenes of ancient civilizations, battles long forgotten, and technologies capable of extraordinary power. Ethan realized he had discovered something remarkable, possibly humanity's best hope for victory. Determinedly, Ethan studied the structure, understanding its purpose gradually. It was a powerful ancient weapon, capable of turning the tide against Valeria. With renewed hope, Ethan focused all his energy on activating it. Following the symbols carefully, hours passed before Ethan finally understood fully how to operate the device. With great care, he activated it, feeling a surge of energy fill the chamber. Outside, powerful signals radiated into space, alerting humanity's fleet to his location. Soon, rescue ships arrived, finding Ethan weak but resolute. Olivia quickly joined him, relief clear on her face. "We thought we lost you," she said quietly. "We have hope," Ethan replied, smiling weakly. "I found something that can save us." Back at the Human Command Center, Ethan shared his discovery. Scientists quickly studied the ancient weapon, working tirelessly to harness its power. Meanwhile, Ethan recovered, driven by the hope this new advantage provided. When news of the weapon reached Valeria, she responded furiously, increasing her attacks. Yet humanity now had a fighting chance. Ethan and Olivia trained rigorously, preparing for the next decisive battle. Days later, humanity's strengthened fleet faced Valeria's forces once more. Ethan, fully recovered, commanded the fleet confidently. Using tactics combined with their newfound ancient technology, human forces quickly regained lost ground. Valeria watched from her battleship, anger building as her fleet suffered defeat after defeat. Ethan's voice echoed clearly through her. Communication systems strong and confident. "Valeria, your tyranny ends now. You will regret this," Valeria snarled furiously. "It's you who will regret starting this war," Ethan replied firmly. Valeria's flagship turned, retreating quickly from the battle. Ethan knew this wasn't their final confrontation, but humanity had gained a significant victory, returning to Earth. Ethan felt immense pride in humanity's courage and unity. Olivia stood beside him, sharing the triumph. Yet Ethan knew the war wasn't over. Valeria remained a dangerous enemy, determined to destroy humanity at any cost. But Ethan stood ready. With determination and bravery, he would continue leading humanity toward ultimate victory, prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. Captain Ethan Cole sat quietly on the cold floor of his cell. It was dark and damp, the walls made of rough stone. His wrists were sore from the chains, and his body ached from the harsh treatment by Valeria's guards. Still, Ethan refused to let despair take hold. His mind remained sharp, planning how to escape and return to Earth to warn his people. Suddenly, a faint noise caught his attention. Footsteps approached slowly down the hall. Ethan quickly stood up, ready to face whatever might come next. The heavy metal door creaked open, and Lieutenant Olivia Hart stepped into the dim cell, her face bruised but determined. "Olivia," Ethan whispered with relief, "how did you escape?" She smiled slightly, holding up a small key. "One guard was careless." "Let's hurry. We don't have much time." Olivia quickly unlocked Ethan's chains, and he rubbed his sore wrist gratefully. "Where's the rest of the crew?" he asked urgently. "Still held separately," Olivia said quietly. "We must find a way to free them later. First, we have to leave and warn Earth." Valeria declared war. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. Together, they moved carefully out of the cell and into the long shadow corridor. Guards patrolled everywhere, their footsteps echoing softly. Ethan and Olivia stayed close to the walls, moving quietly, hearts pounding. Finally, they reached a hangar where small ships were kept. Ethan peeked carefully around the corner, seeing only 2 guards. He motioned to Olivia, and together they attacked swiftly and silently, knocking out the guards before they could sound an alarm. They rushed into the nearest ship, quickly sealing. "The doors behind them? Can you fly this thing?" Olivia asked anxiously. "I'll manage," Ethan replied confidently, sitting down at the controls. Alien technology was complicated, but Ethan had spent years studying various spacecraft. His fingers moved quickly, activating the ship's engines. Lights flickered to life, and the vessel trembled slightly as it powered up. Alarms began ringing. Through the hangar, Valeria's warriors realized prisoners were escaping. Ethan's heart raced as he guided the ship towards the exit. Doors were closing rapidly, but he accelerated, pushing the craft to its limits. They barely squeezed through, the metal doors scraping harshly against their hull. "We're out," Olivia exclaimed, breathing a sigh of relief. "Not yet," Ethan warned, noticing enemy ships already launching to pursue them. "We need to evade them." He steered sharply, maneuvering the ship through enemy fire. Bright blasts of energy streaked past, narrowly missing them. Ethan focused intently, weaving the ship through space with precision. Olivia assisted, operating the ship's defensive systems, firing back whenever possible. "They're too fast," Olivia said, worry in her voice. "We'll have to outsmart them," Ethan replied calmly. He noticed an asteroid field ahead. Without hesitation, he steered into the dangerous area, using the drifting rocks as cover. Enemy ships hesitated, unwilling to risk destruction. Carefully navigating through the asteroids, Ethan finally lost their pursuers. Olivia slumped back, relieved. "We did it," she whispered. Ethan nodded, but knew their journey had just begun. "Set a course for Earth," he instructed, adjusting their path. "We must warn our people quickly." Hours passed as the small ship traveled through space. Ethan and Olivia took turns resting briefly, always alert for any sign of trouble. Ethan's thoughts kept returning to the crew members left behind. Guilt tugged at his heart, but he knew warning Earth had to be their priority. Finally, the blue and green globe of Earth appeared through their viewport. Ethan felt his heart lift with hope, but the burden remained heavy. Humanity faced a powerful enemy because of his defiance. He knew he had to make things right. They landed swiftly at a military base, soldiers immediately surrounding their alien ship. Ethan and Olivia stepped out slowly, hands raised in surrender. "We come in peace," Ethan called clearly. Soldiers relaxed slightly, recognizing their uniforms. An officer approached cautiously. "Captain Cole? Lieutenant Hart? What happened?" "An alien empire called the Zilorians declared war," Ethan explained urgently. "They captured our ship and crew. Their leader, Empress Valeria, is preparing an invasion." The officer nodded gravely, quickly guiding them to meet Admiral Jason Clark. In a secure briefing room, Ethan and Olivia explained everything. Admiral Clark listened carefully, his face stern. "Your actions were brave, Captain," the Admiral finally said. "But war has come to us because of it." "I accept responsibility," Ethan replied firmly. "And I will do everything I can to defend our people." "Very well," Admiral Clark said decisively. "Prepare to train our soldiers. Your experience with the Zilorians is invaluable." Days passed quickly as Ethan and Olivia trained the soldiers in new tactics and strategies. They taught them about Zilorian technology and combat methods, preparing humanity to face this great challenge. The news of war spread quickly, uniting Earth's nations like never before. Ethan saw the determination and courage in the eyes of those he trained. He knew the battle ahead would be difficult, but humanity stood strong and united. Each day, he pushed himself and the soldiers harder, driven by the urgency of the coming invasion. At last, reports came in. Zilorian ships had entered human territories. Battles erupted everywhere. Humanity fought bravely, holding ground despite heavy losses. Ethan and Olivia led their troops courageously, winning several critical battles. boosted morale across Earth. Yet Ethan knew Empress Valeria would not stop easily. She wanted revenge against him personally. He often remembered her furious face when he spat on her feet. That moment, born of defiance, had sparked a devastating war, but also ignited humanity's fierce determination. As battles continued, Ethan felt the heavy weight of command. Lives depended on his decisions, but he refused to falter. Each victory inspired him. Each loss hurt deeply. Yet he pressed on, never losing hope or determination. One night, after a fierce battle, Ethan stood, quietly overlooking Earth's landscape. Stars filled the sky above, beautiful yet distant. Olivia joined him silently, sensing his heavy thoughts. "Do you think we'll win?" she asked softly. "We have to," Ethan replied firmly. "We have no choice but to fight for our survival." Olivia nodded, standing silently by his side. Ethan felt grateful for her support and strength. Together they knew they faced a long, hard battle ahead. But Ethan believed deeply in humanity's courage and resilience. "We'll never surrender," Ethan vowed quietly, his voice filled with resolve. "No matter what Valeria brings, humanity will stand firm." Under the stars, Ethan and Olivia stood together, determined and hopeful, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Captain Ethan Cole stood silently, his hands tightly bound behind his back with heavy chains. The room was large and decorated with strange, glowing symbols. Walls of deep violet reflected the eerie lights, making everything appear mysterious and frightening. Ethan lifted his eyes slowly, focusing on the throne at the far end of the massive hall. On that throne sat Empress Valeria, ruler of the fierce alien empire known as the Zilurians. Her sharp eyes stared straight at him, cold and unforgiving. Ethan had been on a peaceful mission when Valeria's warriors had captured him and his crew. They accused his people of spying, even though he tried to explain their intentions were peaceful. The Zilurians didn't listen. They never listened. Ethan knew they wanted to conquer worlds, not form friendships. Valeria especially seemed to enjoy seeing others submit to her power. Valeria slowly rose from her throne, her long silver gown shimmering with every step she took. Ethan noticed her feet were bare, covered only by the thin layers of fabric flowing gently around her ankles. She moved towards him, a cruel smile forming on her pale blue lips. Her eyes never left Ethan's face, as if challenging him to defy. "Her, Captain Ethan Cole," she said, her voice strong but dangerously soft. "You are brave, but foolish. Do you know why you stand before me today?" "Because your people captured my ship," Ethan answered calmly, even though his heart was pounding, "and accused us wrongly." Valeria laughed, a cold and sharp sound echoing around the hall. "You humans always plead innocence," she mocked. "Yet your actions speak louder than words." "We came to talk," Ethan insisted firmly, "to create peace, not war." The alien empress stepped closer, towering slightly over Ethan. Her eyes glittered. "With anger and pride, peace? Your kind does not understand peace. You only know how to take and destroy." "You're wrong," Ethan said, holding her gaze without fear. "We've grown beyond war." Valeria tilted her head, studying Ethan closely. Her eyes narrowed, her voice becoming a whisper filled with menace. "If that is true, Captain, then show me. Show me you understand submission, humility, obedience." Ethan felt his jaw tighten as she spoke. He knew exactly what she meant, but he wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. The Empress saw his resistance and smiled cruelly. "Kiss my feet, human," Valeria ordered coldly, her voice echoing like a whip cracked through the room. "Show your obedience." The hall became deadly silent. Zilurian warriors watched from all sides, waiting for his response. Ethan glanced down at her feet, then slowly looked back into her proud, challenging eyes. He felt a fire inside him, a burning determination not to bend to her will. He represented humanity. He could not show weakness. "I will not," Ethan replied firmly. Valeria's smile faded, replaced by fury. You dare defy me? Her voice trembled, slightly with rage, her eyes blazing fiercely. I dare to stand for my people, Ethan said calmly. We want peace, but we will never bow. Valeria's eyes narrowed dangerously, her lips curling into a snarl. Then perhaps pain will teach you humility. Ethan's mind raced as he watched her. He knew what was coming, but his decision was clear. Valeria moved closer, her voice dropping even lower, filled with icy anger. This is your final chance, Captain. Kiss my feet or face the consequences. With his heart beating loudly, Ethan looked straight at her. He knew this moment would change everything. Slowly, deliberately, he gathered the strength inside him and spat directly onto her feet. The sound was sharp, echoing like a slap through the silent hall. Gasps filled the room. Valeria stood frozen in shock, staring down at her feet, disbelief written plainly across her face. Ethan stood straight, his eyes defiant, his posture strong despite his chains. He knew exactly what his action meant war, but it was the only response he could give to such humiliation. Valeria's head snapped up, her eyes filled with pure hatred. You dare insult me in my own palace? She roared. You dare challenge my authority before my people? Ethan remained silent, his face firm, showing no fear. He had made his decision, and he was ready for what would come next. He would never surrender humanity's dignity, even if it cost him his life. Take him away! Valeria screamed, her voice shaking with fury. Throw him in the deepest cell. Let him rot until he begs for mercy. Warriors rushed forward, grabbing Ethan roughly and dragging him from the hall. He felt every pair of eyes on him, some filled with shock, others with hatred. Ethan knew he had made a powerful enemy today, but he also knew he had made a standout as they took him from the throne room. He saw Valeria still staring at her feet in shock and anger. Ethan allowed himself a small, grim smile. He had shown the Zilorian Empress humanity's true spirit. Now, whatever came next, he knew he had made the right choice. Jacob and Leela's return to their base was met with excitement and warm welcomes from everyone. Their successful mission had strengthened trust between the humans and the aliens even further. Now, more than ever, their community felt unified. Filled with a shared vision for lasting peace. As days passed, Layla became more involved in leadership roles at the base. She often led meetings between soldiers and alien representatives, helping solve problems with her calm and gentle wisdom. Jacob watched her proudly, feeling deep admiration and respect for her ability to bring people together. One morning, Jacob received important news. A high-ranking human commander, General Miles, planned to visit their base. He had heard about Jacob and Lila's efforts and wanted to see their achievements firsthand. Jacob knew this visit was crucial. General Miles had a reputation for strictness and skepticism. We must prepare carefully, Jacob told Layla gently. General Miles is tough. We need to show him clearly how much progress we've made. Layla nodded thoughtfully, understanding the importance. We'll welcome him warmly. He needs to see and feel the harmony we've built here. On the day of the general's visit, everyone worked hard to ensure everything was perfect. Soldiers and aliens stood side by side, greeting the general warmly upon his arrival. General Miles, tall and imposing, observed everything carefully, his eyes sharp and critical. Jacob, General Miles greeted firmly, shaking his hand briefly. I have heard interesting reports about your work here. Show me around. Jacob guided him through the base, pointing out daily activities where soldiers and aliens cooperated closely. General Miles watched quietly, his expression unreadable. When they reached the area where Layla taught the children, General Miles paused, clearly interested. Layla approached him calmly, offering a respectful greeting. General, welcome to our community. These children learn and grow together, human and alien alike. General Miles regarded her silently for a moment before asking, do you believe such closeness is sustainable, Layla? Trust between species has always been fragile. Layla answered softly but confidently, General, trust grows from understanding and patience. These children know nothing of past hatred. They are building a new future, guided by peace. I believe our bond can be permanent. General Miles seemed thoughtful. He observed the lessons for a long moment before finally nodding. I admire your optimism. Show me more. Jacob continued the tour, highlighting joint training sessions shared, meals, and cooperation on various projects. General Miles gradually appeared less skeptical, becoming genuinely curious. Later that evening, Jacob and Layla joined General Miles for dinner. During the meal, General Miles finally spoke openly. Jacob, I must admit, I arrived with doubts. Yet, what I've seen here surprises me. Your achievements are impressive. Layla, your presence clearly influences everyone positively. Layla smiled warmly. Thank you, General. Peace needs constant nurturing, but it is worth every effort. General. Miles nodded seriously. I must report back soon. Your example could inspire other bases. Perhaps your methods could help build lasting peace everywhere. Jacob felt relieved and proud. Thank you, General. We're committed to this vision. The General departed the next day, leaving behind an atmosphere of excitement and hope. Jacob and Layla continued their efforts, encouraged by the acknowledgement of their hard work. Weeks later, new challenges arose unexpectedly. A fierce storm approached, threatening the safety of both the base and nearby alien villages. Panic spread quickly. Jacob called an urgent meeting, emphasizing cooperation and swift action. We must protect everyone, Jacob declared firmly. Together, humans and aliens must ensure everyone's safety. Layla immediately stepped forward, calmly taking charge. She coordinated teams, instructing humans and aliens alike to fortify buildings, gather supplies, and prepare shelters. Her calm guidance reassured everyone. As the storm struck fiercely, Jacob and Layla moved tirelessly, helping anyone in need. Wind howled, and heavy rain battered the buildings, but their preparations held strong. Jacob rescued families trapped by flooding, while Layla comforted frightened children. Finally, the storm subsided, leaving behind a trail of damage but no loss of life. Everyone emerged safely, deeply grateful for Jacob and Layla's leadership. Their joint efforts had strengthened bonds even further. As cleanup began, Jacob and Layla continued working side by side. Despite exhaustion, they felt immense pride in their community. Late that night, as stars appeared again in the clearing sky, Jacob and Layla rested together, reflecting on the events. Layla, your courage amazes me, Jacob whispered softly, looking deeply into her eyes. Your calmness and compassion brought hope to everyone. Layla smiled warmly, gently squeezing his hand. Jacob, your bravery inspires me. Together we can face anything. Our love gives us strength. The following day saw quick recovery and renewed unity. General Miles' positive report inspired other bases, creating broader support for peace. Jacob and Layla became symbols of hope, their stories spreading widely and encouraging others to embrace cooperation. Soon after, General Miles returned, this time bringing news. Your work inspired change, General Miles announced proudly. Other bases now seek your guidance. Jacob and Layla, you both have been chosen to lead broader peace-building efforts across our worlds. Jacob felt deeply honored. General, this is a great responsibility. We promise to fulfill it faithfully. Layla added firmly, her voice steady with determination. Peace is always achievable, General. We will continue our work tirelessly. General Miles nodded approvingly. I trust you both completely. Your courage and dedication have proven yourselves. Again and again. Jacob and Layla prepared quickly for their new roles, knowing this journey would bring new challenges, but also new opportunities to expand peace further. Their friends, Sophie and Luke, promised support, joining them eagerly. As Jacob and Layla stood ready to begin their journey, they reflected on their path. Their initial meeting had transformed into an extraordinary partnership, driven by compassion, courage, and deep love. Lila held Jacob's hand firmly, smiling with confidence. Jacob, our journey began with uncertainty, yet now our path is clear. We have each other, and together we can achieve anything. Jacob returned her smile warmly, heart filled with joy and hope. Yes, Layla, our love has guided us, and it will continue to do so. Together, we will bring peace to countless others. With hearts united and purpose clear, Jacob and Lila stepped forward into their new responsibilities, ready to build bridges of trust, hope, and lasting peace between their peoples and across their worlds.